The stream is live. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Burn Bryte. I'm Christiana Ellis, and we're going to play some Burn Bryte.
Yay!
Yes.
This is a tabletop RPG recently released from Roll20, and it is science fantasy and very fun, and this is our session 2. So if you're just picking up this one, then you might want to check out the beginning of the adventure with our session 1, or you can just stay right here with us right now, and we're going to recap what's going on. But first, let's introduce our players, and maybe each of you briefly, just as a quick reminder for everyone, say who your character is and what their very basic physical description. So, David Archambault.
I am playing Noviatola, and kind of reddish, usually kind of nice looking, but very sad and burned kitty person.
Lee Burdett.
I am playing Basket Case. He is a living mech called a Peacecraft. Yes, I am using General Grievous as the model for him, but he's a little bit singed right now.
Nobilis Reed.
I am playing Erasto, the Glean, which is a kind of a tentacled amphibious creature, who is the party's practical biochemist. His solution to most of the problems that have shown up have been in the form of drugs.
Better living through chemistry.
Absolutely.
Yes. And last but not least, Paul Weimer.
And I'm playing Yando Galabrarta. He's the Oron pilot, which means he's basically a human-sized humanoid with crystalline skin, and he likes to fly things fast. But he's a little battered at the moment after
Last session.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So everybody is a little battered, but let's talk about why that is. So, as we began last time, the four of you, as a crew, had just arrived on the planet of Ozabni after delivering a shipment of Delixor crystals. These are very valuable crystals, and you took on a high-risk, high-reward mission where you were basically hoping to be the first, because the first to deliver the crystals gets the sale, everyone else is out of luck, and yet you were the first. So that's how you found yourself here on Ozabni, delivering crystals to Zaspar, someone from the Cosma Overguild. And then you were basically having a night out on the town. You were exploring the local district here, taking part in some of the local businesses. And Basket Case made a new friend, a furry little pink puffball of a thing that was promptly named George.
Yes.
He
is very cute.
He is also
and so
very
venomous.
Yes,
He's also
very
poisonous.
venomous. Yes.
Venomous.
Yes. So that is something that happened. But then, after you went to a music act at the Wailing Diva nightclub, you emerged back onto the street to sounds of chaos, screams, and ships in the street, and you saw a bunch of strange cultists dressed in green and yellow robes, dragging a Kithuk, who is kind of like a big bug person, dragging a terrified Kithuk onto a ship and ranting about how Gulmak is, just the best, and everybody ought to follow Gulmak because he gives you cool flame powers, and they proceeded to demonstrate their flame powers, and you, by shooting fire out of their hands. But you all being the heroic adventuring types decided to step in and not let these crazy cultists just drag helpless civilians into their ships against their will. And so you fought several of these cultists, killed many of them, and then the last one left tried to flee, but you stopped him and knocked him unconscious through a team effort. Now, this Kithuk, who was about to be kidnapped, was badly burned, but then Basket Case took him into his cockpit, which is like a pilot seat that all Peacecraft have. And you healed him physically, although he is still screaming. Because just, you know, if you imagine things from his point of view, first he was being dragged into a ship by cultists, and then he was on fire, and then he got put into a robot, and then he was drenched with goo, and the goo felt okay. So that wasn't like that bad, but still, like, he's like right here still, you know. So, and that's where we're going to pick back up, is that you all were taking a moment to take a breath because it seemed that the danger had passed. But then as you look around over the city, you see many other of these ships all bearing this this sort of a setting sun insignia on them. Many other ships taking off, suggesting that this ship that you fought was not the only one. But so, as we pick up now, Basket Case, you've been kind of handling the stuff outside of yourself. But in the meantime, inside yourself, you've got a panicking Kithuk. He is breathing very fast. At some point, he opened up his little communicator and he started babbling to someone called Jade. He's like, you gotta come help me! You gotta come help me! Oh my god, I was almost kidnapped by cultists, and then I was on fire and I'm burned, and now I'm inside a robot, and there's another Peacecraft. It's not like you. It's actually a pretty nice cockpit in here, but I'm terrified. Help me! Help me! Help me! Come here and help me, please. So that's happening. And in the meantime, you have this badly wounded but currently unconscious cultist at your mercy. So, space heroes, what would you like to do?
Kind of wish I had some binders.
What do you want to bet that the authorities are completely overwhelmed by all these ships descending all over the city, and they have no resources to spare to send over to us?
So,
I wouldn't bet any argent on that.
You also know that this particular planet mostly is private security. Like, there's the Sensual Overguild that runs some things, but most places, there's not a lot of just like what you'd think of as ordinary, you know, beat cops. Like, there's mostly security that handles the stuff that they're paid to protect.
It's a libertarian paradise.
Yes.
With finger quotes.
So we don't have a real police authority we can turn this Joker over to and be done with it.
Certainly
Which
there's
means-
no one on their way anyway.
Which means that there's also no authority to get in the way of us investigating this ourselves.
True.
True.
So, what do you say we tie this Joker up, and I wake him up, and we find out what the next, what this whole thing is about, at least from his point of view.
And in the meantime, maybe find the friend of this kidnapped person, and maybe we can get from that end why they were being kidnapped.
Yeah, but that part doesn't involve giving chemicals to people, so I'm less interested in that.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I think this being might need some sedation.
You
Yeah,
got him
there.
secure inside you there.
Well, actually, I think you all see Basket Case like vibrating just a little bit because of this. This Kithuk is climbing around inside the cockpit, and because he seems like he's still talking to whoever this is on the other end of his communicator. You say, "Hang on, I'll look." And he's like climbing around. He's looking for something, I guess. But like he's still like breathing hard. It's like, I don't know. Just like you need to just come help me. This is really scary. I just need. Oh my God, my heart's beating. My hearts are beating like drums. And I just want to go home. And yeah, so he's just still doing that inside.
Yeah.
Do you want me to do something about that?
I don't know if it would do more harm than good.
Perhaps we can talk to him. If you let him out, we can talk to him. Maybe, can get some sedation, or can just talk to him, calm him down.
Talking is fine. That works. I mean, I've done that, but talking plus drugs works even better.
All right. Well, the thing is, I would go over to the being that burned both of us, all of us, is right there. So I don't want to let him out on top of him.
Well,
in order to,
I think you can turn and set him like adjacent to you, because remember, all you have to do, like you can uncombine anytime you want, and like mechanically just moving to a different space without him controlling you does it. But I think in the fiction, it is trivially easy for you to take him out and set him on the ground wherever you want.
Okay. All right. I want to set him on the ground. I do want to set him on the ground because this is tickling. Mm-hmm. And I don't like the feeling of all these bugs in my cockpit.
Yeah. No, this is not one of the Ronan, like the swarms, but it's like the great big bug people with forearms.
Yeah, I was gonna say let's put him down like right here.
Okay. Yeah, I think you can do that. Yeah. So as it opens up, he's like and he's like, as you sort of gently lower him down, he sort of like collapses to his knees and looks up at you, and it's just like,
"Are you okay?
Did you save my life? Please don't hurt me."
Yes, and I won't.
Oh God! I've had the worst day.
Stay right there. You'll be okay.
So, anyone else doing anything?
Nobody at all will go to him and say, "Do you know why they wanted you?"
Well, I don't know. I mean, I'm sort of a boss with the overkill, but no, I was just walking down the street. I wasn't doing anything. I don't mean, why would they just grab me? I was like, what were they even going to do to me? They had fire coming out of there.
Try to calm him down.
Yeah. Make it to difficulty, but. Yeah, no, actually, this guy seems like in pretty much of a state, so I think this is more like a 3.
I think a presence sounds like that'd be
sure
useful.
Well, so describe what that looks like, though. Like, what are you trying? Well, okay, no, you want to do presence? We'll roll, and then you role play it based on
the result.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
So, for those new to this system, when you are doing any sort of a challenge, you can choose whichever skill you like, and then you roll the number of die that equals the complication. The complexity of the roll. There you go. Okay, a pass. So describe like what you're doing with your presence to try to calm this guy down.
Okay, she's going to use basically a method that she's experienced with military doctors to just snap the guy's attention to me and to basically make him not just not think about what what has happened, what is happening, just yeah. Listen,
Ah!
Iceland. You need to breathe.
Ah!
Breathe.
Ah! Ah! Ah!
You're safe now.
Safe. Am I safe? I don't feel safe.
Yeah.
I feel like all I'm just like, I'm still like, I'm still just like up here, but like what? Who were those people? Like, what were they trying to do?
We don't know. They seem to be cultists of some form.
Oh my God, cultists!
They,
He is laid down on the ground and curled up into a little ball. Kithuk actually can have like a little sort of, they can get into like a little defensive position with
Pillbug?
their exoskeleton, and so he kind of is doing that.
Like a pill bug.
Yeah, kind
Yeah.
of, although they're not like all the way in a little ball, it's just slightly more, like, maybe like halfway between a pill bug and like just a turtle sort of hunkering.
think
Aw.
Noito will just kneel next to him and just pat his exoskeleton. Yeah, so he's not gonna go anywhere. He's just
Ah.
we're here. We're
Okay, well, I'm sorry, I'm just like, I need a drink or something. This was a hard
all could
day.
use a drink.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Does anybody have anything for restraining people on them? I don't.
I don't believe I would have any
I
equipment
don't
like
think
that.
I carry bonds or I'm like that. I could be wrong, but let me look at my sheet.
I thought I
Could
did, but
we-
I don't have.
I mean, here's the thing, like, you don't have handcuffs, but like just like there's not necessarily like a rule in the fiction, like if you guys just want to like take a belt or something, I don't know. You tell me what
Yeah.
you want to
Yeah,
do.
I think
You know.
if nobody else has a belt, Nova Tola would take a belt off of her clothes and
Yeah.
use this to tie him up.
Yep.
He is unconscious and not resisting, so I'm not even really interested in you making like a roll to bind the hands of an unconscious person.
I was thinking about taking the cables that are lying.
The ones that are
That's right
sparking
there.
with electricity?
Yeah. That'd be fun.
You are such a Peachcraft.
Well, also they're probably a
Guilty.
little thick to be to
Well, in
be
any
with blind
case,
hands.
once we've got this bugger restrained, I'm going to use my med kit to get him a little healthier and conscious.
Why a little healthier? It took me a long time to nearly kill him. That was difficult.
Yeah, so he is still kind of, wounded and not very healthy. But like, so you tell me, like, are you trying to actually heal some hit points, essential health levels, or are you just wanting to wake him up?
Well, if I can wake him up without healing him significantly, then I will do that.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, it was your sedative was part of what made him unconscious.
Yeah.
So I think
right,
you
that's
can
right.
you can counteract that.
I'm gonna sit down with my supplies and whip up a little injection that is tailored to this particular species. Take a couple measurements to make sure of his mass. Just get everything put together right to make him awake, but kind of woozy, and if possible, a little disinhibited.
Okay. So if you're actually wanting to not just wake him up, but also have him maybe a little more compliant, That's going to be
Yes.
a roll. I wasn't going to make you roll
Yeah.
just to
No.
make
Yeah.
him
Yeah.
up,
Yeah.
but-
That's. I figured.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, so just a complexity 2 roll. But obviously
Okay.
it needs to be a skill that you can justify in this case.
Yeah. Yeah, and I'll go ahead and roll medicine on it because even though I've rolled that recently and I want to roll something else, I also don't want to fail this.
Sure, sure. Okay, so that's a success. So yeah, as you are, what does this look like? Is it another hypo spray or?
Oh yes, absolutely hypo spray. That's he's got his second favorite hypo spray out, and he's getting a little bit of this and a little bit of that, and preparing it right there in the flask in the reservoir for it, and then pressing the hypo spray up to his neck, and or actually, I think that in this particular case, he's decided that an inhaled version is better, so he squirts up the guy's nose.
Like smelling salts?
Yes.
Sure. Okay, so this is the handout for this particular guy. He is an Eno, which is kind of like a cat person, which is the same species that Nova Utala is. And so I think at first, like, there's a little bit of, like the nose twitching at the inhaling, then the ears maybe flop and twitch a little bit, and then the eyes kind of suddenly blink open, and they're having a little trouble focusing, but eventually they kind of lock onto you, Erasto, and he says, "But you're not Gulmark."
And I'm going to. No, but you're going to tell me all about Gulmark. How you found him, how he came to you, the wonders of his friends and his devotees, because you love him that much.
I do love him that much. Gulmark is great. Like, I just, I didn't know what to do with myself before. But then, when I heard the voice of Gulmark, I knew that I was one of the enlightened, and Gulmark had judged me worthy of my powers. And
yes, you are judged worthy, clearly, because you wield these tremendous powers of fire, and a being as powerful as Gulmark has a temple, right? He's got some kind of cathedral somewhere where his devotees chant his praises, right?
Go ahead and make another questioning.
Okay.
It's still
I'm going to roll
difficulty
deceive
2.
this time, I think.
Yeah. So all of these are so I'm going to make you roll for additional pieces of information, but they're all complexity 2.
Okay. All right. And that's another pass.
All right. So it's like, well, I don't know. I mean, a temple, that sounds cool, but like, why do you need a temple when Gulmark is all around? The fiery aura that surrounds our galaxy is Gulmark's wrath. You can praise him from anywhere that you see his holy aura.
Well, then some kind of gathering place where his most trusted advisors can
we have a
operate.
place that we take prisoners to.
Well, that sounds like a good start.
I don't know the best place because I work for Oppo Medinavinkin, and she's a hand of Gulmark. So I do what she says. But she's not she's one of the hands of Gulmark, but not like the Daylight was founded by Oh, someone else. Oppo. She has us bringing prisoners to the Inferna.
I see. That's that you are an incredibly loyal cultist. Good on you. I wish that half the people in the world were as devoted as you are to their cause.
Well, they're not, though,
You,
you know. There's the galaxy is sinful, and the sinners must be cast into the burn.
well, we'll get there. I'm going to kind of get out of his field of view and kind of look to the others and have an icon come up in my reliquary that just spells out the words. Anything else in quick succession of letters flashing across his face.
Where was he going?
Yeah,
You just told us.
Yeah.
Well, but like, you wouldn't. He said the Inferna. I don't know that you
Oh, the
automatically
Inferna.
know where that
Oh,
is.
okay. Oh, okay.
Okay.
So, the Inferno must be an amazing place. If Gulmak's power is to be experienced there, what makes the Inferno special?
How about one more check for me? Complexity
Okay.
too.
And this time I'm going to roll suave.
All right. Oh no! Okay, so that's
Oh
a fail.
no.
oh
I think that at this point, he is starting to scowl a little bit and just kind of say, "Sinners of the galaxy must be offered the opportunity to hear the voice of Gulmak, but if they don't, they must be cast into the burn. And if they're cast into the burn, then they will be obliterated. But the enlightened will hear the voice of Gulmak and have nothing to fear from the burn." And he's getting worked up again, as opposed to answering your question.
Knock him out again.
Okay.
In the meantime, while this interrogation is going on, and while our Eno is calming down our new friend, and the Peacecraft is resettling themselves, I'm going to go over to the shuttle because it's a spaceship. After all,
it is. It's so you can move your tokens. If you want, but like, there's not like an inside, but like this was their ship, and as you go inside there, let me pull up the notes. So you see as you go in that it has a little logo that indicates that this ship is called the Dawnshine. Yeah, it is. It is a pretty small ship. It's just a single room. It had enough space, obviously, for the cultists that had been on board, and then there's kind of a bunch of open space too. Like they could have maybe piled in 5 or 6 more people in addition to the cultists you saw. But otherwise, it's a relatively simple, just sort of transport shuttle, but painted all in this, blazing sun, fire sort of motif.
So is it just a ground to orbit shuttle?
No, it's a intergalactic ship. Like.
Oh, that's even more interesting because then I want to know where this thing has come from and where it was programmed to go.
Yeah. So how are you going to try to find that out?
I'm going to try to get into its computers.
Okay, so.
Because that is one of my things.
Tell me about it.
You can also talk. You can also talk to its.
I could talk to its. I could talk to its EI.
Am I?
But I'm going. I think it. Mm-hmm. I'm going. First, I'm going to try the more direct approach because.
Okay. Sure.
So
So what are you doing?
I'm going to try to get into its computers to basically pull up its navigational logs of where it was going, and if it's programmed to have gone to go somewhere afterwards
Yeah.
where it is set to go.
Yeah, that's a complexity 2 roll. What skill are you?
Computers.
All right. Well, that works.
3 is not going to make that too difficult.
Okay.
I botched.
Yeah. So I think that what you find is that you are trying to, slice in through the initial security features, and all of a sudden you notice that the MI in the computer is alerted to your presence and sends an electric shock through the keyboard. You're going to take 1 health level damage.
A health level damage?
Yeah.
That puts me at 0.
Uh-oh. Yeah, so
I got 1 last session.
Yeah, so I think that anyone paying attention would have seen Yondu go off to the shuttle, and then maybe a type, bzzzt, thump.
Not covering myself with glory.
Yeah. So I think that you are as you are reduced to 0 health levels. What also happens is that you are going to take a minor condition on your computer's skill.
Okay, so I'm trying to remember how this works on the sheet. So I pick the
Yeah.
condition and then the skill.
Click the smallest little minus heart, and then the skill.
Up, got it.
Yeah.
All right. Basket Case is going to duck in the door and pull him out.
Okay.
And chuck him in the cockpit.
Okay.
Because my Nova skill is to heal 3 points, and that's what I use to heal our new friend. But I can. Let me see if I need to do a roll to do the healing tank. Spend 1 advantage. No, I don't have any advantage.
Yeah, that's like a combat thing.
Yeah, but still.
Well,
just
so you
check
can
him.
also, like Yondu, or not Yondu, but Erasto does this stuff too, and
Yeah.
Okay.
if you have
So-
equipment for it, you can do
Yeah.
rolls. But
Yeah, so I won't stick him in the cockpit. I'll just put him on the ground outside the thing.
Do you have a quick bag or a quick bandage? Do you have any of those?
I do.
I don't.
So I think this guy up here, who you haven't even really got to introduce himself yet, because he's he became marginally calmer through your direction, Nova Utala, but still kind of twitchy. And when he sees that, he's like, "Oh my God! Did the ship just kill him?"
He's just he's just
He's stunned.
You're fine. Hey, what's your
Yeah.
name? What's your name?
Cree. My name's Cree, and I got a little handout for you guys here. This is
Aw.
this is the guy.
Erasto notices that someone else has been laid out on the ground. He rubs his tentacles together and says, "Ooh, more people to inject chemicals into." And he
Our doctor's gonna take
goes
care
over
of the blue friend. So
to restore health levels to their.
Yeah. So I believe that is a depending on what you're doing, right? You have the med kit that can.
Yeah. I'm using a med kit.
Okay.
So,
So
there,
go.
1 health level.
right. So that's a success, and so you are back to health level. The condition is not immediately cleared unless you do that. There's a different ability for that. You can also, with a minor condition, I believe that hang on. Let's conditions. So, for my
Yeah,
dog
I
is doing
have
stuff.
the ability
Yeah.
to clear my conditions.
Okay, yeah. So you can
what
either
do.
you can do that, or it'll wear off all by itself in a day, or if you just go like anywhere that in the fiction could be justified, spending an hour and 250 argent can also clear it. But if Erasto has an ability that also says it can do it, then
Yeah.
also that.
Yeah. And yeah, I might as well heal his hands as well. Continuing to use medicine because I don't want to have any more chance of failure than
Yeah.
I have to.
Thank you.
All right, so that's another success. So, Yandu, you wake up to see Erasto's sunglasses covered multiple eyes peering down at you as tentacles are like all over the place. And but you feel marginally better.
Thank you. I hope not to make a habit of this, but currently
I think if things didn't go well inside the ship.
no.
So the Cree looks over and sees that happen and is like, "Hey, are you some kind of doctor? I don't suppose you could give me something to take the edge off here. I'm still kind of like at a 10."
Yeah, absolutely. Come here. Let me help you. Let's see. Again, okay. So you want to take the edge off. I don't know. You don't seem like you really need much in the way of entertainment at this point. So just lay something to calm you down. Perhaps slow down the world around you a little bit.
Oh my God, that sounds good.
Make everything just feeling so peaceful. Yes, here we go. And here's some more drugs. I assume I have to make another roll for this.
Yeah. There you go. That's another pass. And so, yeah, as you give that, you see like the tense expression around his eyes relax, and his breathing slows down, and he's just like, "Oh, that's awesome."
Oh boy.
Thank you. That's better. Oh.
Yeah.
How crazy
I'm
was that?
so
Those cultists
glad.
were just grabbing me off the street.
You know something? It is the weirdest thing. I'm not sure that they were necessarily after you specifically. It looks like they were doing this all over the place, so I wouldn't take it too personally.
Oh. Well, I mean, I guess
You were
that's...
just a target of opportunity, though they were mentioning sinners there. I wonder if there's anything, any activity you might have been involved in that
No, I'm not.
someone at a
No, I work for the Egon Overguild, which Erasto would know is the Overguild in charge of like health and taking care of people.
Oh, yeah, I've worked with them in the past, at least until I got blackballed.
Yeah, I'm pretty higher ranking here on the planet, but but I'm not sure, everybody's got, exoskeletons in their closet, but I'm not a sinner.
One person's definition of sin could be another person's definition of innocence.
Oh. Yeah. So, so now that I can, form thoughts, thank you. All of you, you saved my life.
Well, we weren't going to let those cultists just drag you off to who knows where.
Well,
That's not what we're about.
Thank you. That's. I mean, there's people on this planet that would not step in and would not put themselves at risk like that. So thanks. I mean, you guys
I
are
don't know
good
about
people. You're
putting
good.
risk.
You're good guys. I can tell.
So-
Well, not guys in the abstract plural.
Sentience.
Sentience.
Arasto pulls out a little plastic chip. Says, "Here's our contact information. If you decide that your gratitude has any dollar signs next to it," and just kind of tucks it into his jacket pocket.
Oh, yeah. No, I probably can. Wait. Oh, you guys got to talk to Jade.
Okay, let's
Jade?
talk. Right.
Jade Crucible is my friend from the ARC. Like I called her from inside you. Yeah, she's the best, and she,
Oh.
if anyone knows what's going on with these cultists, she'll know.
Excellent. Maybe you can tell us where to find her so that we can.
Oh, she's
can-
coming here. I said save me, and last time she did.
Okay. Well, then just sit quiet and enjoy the drugs, and we'll wait for your friend.
You might want to call her back and tell her that you're fine. That you don't need to be rescued, because I don't want her to come
That's a
in guns
good
blazing.
point.
Yeah,
That's a very good point.
that is a good idea. And so he starts to take out his communication badge, but then he kind of glances up at the skyline and says, "Oh, not necessary. Here she comes." And sure enough, as you look in the direction he's pointing, a big old pink Peacecraft, sort of, that has, the flight boosters, sort of soars in, and then lands down here. And I'm giving you access to this. This is Jade Crucible.
I'm
Yeah.
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 Um,
Yeah, it's the horns aesthetic. I wasn't really feeling the horns. I got those surgically removed.
So you're a Hellboy?
In more ways than one.
By the
Give me
way,
one second. Give me one second.
Big rivet.
yeah. One thing I would know is that when Cree said that his friend Jade was coming to save him. Yep. She would have put her weapons away. Because having weapons out when somebody's coming to save another person could be a problem.
So sorry about that. Very, minor preventive care needed for my dog. But so Jade Crucible sort of soars in. She's got the flight booster, so she's just flying in, and she immediately lands and kneels down to sort of fuss over Cree, and it's just like, "Oh, Cree, are you okay? Oh, buddy, oh, you sounded so. Boy, you seem a lot calmer than when I talked to you a minute ago."
How that happened?
All right.
No. Erasto definitely puts a big smiley face on his reliquary and waves of several tentacles in response to that. Like, yes, he is
Our doctor gave him something to calm him down.
a
Oh,
practical biochemist. I'm not allowed to call myself a doctor.
Well,
well, he seems a lot better, so thank you. Am I right to assume that all of you are the ones that saved my friend here?
yes.
Yeah.
We are indeed.
Yes.
Yes.
Well,
Go ahead.
I just have to thank you for that, but and thank you for putting yourselves at risk. We have these cultists. They just they're all over the city. There's chaos everywhere. I can't actually stay long. I've got lots of people that still need help, but I needed to check on, Kree's an old friend of mine, so I needed to make sure he was okay. But boy, I tell you, these cultists, I can't believe that the Daylight would dare to hit a populated center like Azabni.
Daylight?
You're familiar with them.
Oh, well, kinda. Like, in the sense that, well, I work for the ARC, and you guys would know that the ARC is the Alliance for Relief and Conservation. And they are an organization that is basically devoted to helping people who are threatened by the burn, and also like saving culture and species and artifacts and everything that are going to be consumed by the burn. And it's basically like they are the galaxy's do-gooders. But the thing is, they are so altruistic that they actually don't have a lot of resources because they think of them as a nonprofit. So they're true believers in their mission, but they're a little scattered and disorganized and don't always have as much resources as they would like, and so on.
Yeah.
But so you definitely know about the ARC.
Okay.
Well, we see you're a busy being. So, would you be able to give us send us any information you have on the Daylight? And
well, you know what? Let me just stop you there, because if you lot are eager to help, boy, could we use that help. So absolutely. Here's what we know. A bunch of ships hit all over the city. They've gotten away with at least 30 people. We need someone to go after them.
okay, I think I can speak for my crew in that we're willing to go after them. We just need to know where.
That's a
and
good
what
question.
to do with this guy.
I don't know where yet. I mean, I think I could probably find out through some of my channels, but right now it's all chaos.
Eraso, you had a word.
Inferna.
Inferno.
The Inferna? Oh.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? That makes sense. The Inferna is an old Kithuk station, it's a space station, but it was abandoned by the Kithuk because it's too close to the burn. It's very close right now. But that is exactly where the Daylight, these people, they are convinced that there is some sort of entity out in the burn that is telling them that either people hear the voice of Golmok, or sometimes they pretend they hear it so that they don't get thrown into the burn. And so, yeah, like they basically worship the burn. It's kind of awful. And that sounds exactly like the sort of place they would go. So, I can tell you, the Daylight is, they've been kidnapping people for a while, but I have never known them to hit a big populated center like this. They must have something big planned. But the Inferno, like, I can show you where that is. Would you be able to go after and try to rescue these people? If so, I have some resources we could offer you. She pulls up like a little panel. She's clearly like doing some math. Well, I could offer you 10,000 Argent if you could return the captives.
That sounds like a deal.
Yes.
Let's see what we can do.
And also, one last thing. Can you give us an address that we can return Kree?
Oh, you know what?
So we can get him home.
Kree, how about you just come with me, good buddy? And he's like, that sounds awesome. Thanks, you guys. You give those cultists woof for. And he's kind of spinning around.
We'll gladly do so.
Yeah. And then I think Jade kind of loads him up into her cockpit and then kind of looks down at Erasto and just says, like, he'll be okay, right?
Oh yeah, that'll wear off.
Okay, good. Just checking. I figured,
He'll metabolize it well, depending on individual, you know, Kithik metabolism being what it is, you know, anywhere between 3 and 72 hours.
All right. Well, you know what? I'll see if I can find him a babysitter. So, I've got a lot of injured people that I'm going to try to, because, you know, there's people on this planet that don't have access to the best of healthcare at the best of times. And so, in addition to kidnapping people, they also just zapped a whole bunch of them with fire hands, apparently. So, there's a lot to clean up here. But, you know, those ships have already got a head start on you, so I don't want to, like, pressure you to leave before you're ready. But the Inferno is like 15 days away, so
Yeah.
the sooner you can leave, the closer behind them you'll be.
Okay. One last question before you go. Do you have a holding facility, or should we just kill this one?
Well, no, don't kill him. Here, I'll take him. They've got a couple rounded up in a few places. I'll just drop him off with that. He's just like you did your thing on him too.
Yeah.
All right. So she just like scoops him up, and yeah. So you know what? I just obviously let me just like I will send you the coordinates for the Inferna, and if you have any questions or follow up like on your way or anything, let me know. I'd be happy to help. I just got, we got so much going on here, but like it was killing me to think that a lot of the people they took off the street were like homeless people who didn't have anywhere else to run to, and it just was really getting to me, the idea that we wouldn't be able to catch up with them. But if you leave soon enough, you can catch up to them before they have time to do whatever they're going to do.
Okay. And
all right. Back to the ship.
And also, this shuttle, I believe, belonged to the cultists. So if you can get the MI to cooperate, maybe you can use the ARC can use it for something good.
Yeah, I think. Well, we can. Yeah, we'll definitely look into that. I'll get a slicer to try to help it cooperate. Although it seems crazy that like you could have an MI even get persuaded in a cult like this, but who knows, right?
Right.
MIs are people too.
Well, that's true. All right, so I'm gonna get this guy and this guy, and like clunks her metal, tummy. Get them somewhere safe. You all stay safe too. I hope you. I wish you the best of luck. If you need to get some supplies or something, I'm sure that's fine. But don't wait too long.
Of course.
All right.
Speed is of the essence.
Yeah. So she flies off with Kree and the cultist in tow.
Okay. Wow.
A 15-day flight to Inferno. Mm-hmm. Get on board the space station, find the prisoners, and get out alive.
Sounds like fun.
I guess that's our side of this.
Sounds like an adventure.
Yes.
So, do you feel like you need to go buy some supplies or anything first, or?
Yeah. As much as she'd like to go back to the style place to maybe get some of the burn taken off, time is of the essence.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I never did get anything last time, but yeah, there's no time for souvenirs or knickknacks.
All right.
Okay. Once we get back on the ship, and we're on our way, I definitely want to pass around the drugs and get everybody back up to full health.
Okay. So bear in mind that if you all get like the equivalent of a long rest, you'll be fine already anyway. But
how long is it going to take to get there?
15 days.
15 days. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, then there's no point in.
Well, that's why I was
investing
saying,
in it.
that
Okay.
it's not really necessary because as long as you're not taking fire immediately, you're gonna mostly be able to just put in the course and then relax
Okay.
for a little bit.
So that's all. That also my negative condition there also.
Yeah.
Okay. And I mean, there's nothing stopping Erasto from passing around the drugs anyway. But
So
Purely in a recreational point of view.
we'll get into that, but first, just do you stop anywhere on your way back to the ship, or are you just heading right out?
I don't have anything else I need. I've still got, I came into this thing with 50 uses of my med kit, and I still have 45, so I'm still good.
yeah.
All right. So you head back to the ship and have a surprise in store
Uh-oh.
because there is a moment where you walk right by because it doesn't look right. But you double check, and it is the same kind of ship, and it is in the same spot, and it does boop boop to your little thing, but your ship looks different now.
Oh no. Oh no.
What kind of different?
So,
Whoa,
it
whoa,
now
what?
looks like this. So yes, your ship has. I thought that There we go. There we go. So, yeah, you.
You redecorated.
Yeah.
Change the
So,
desktop theme.
yeah, you do see once you take a little bit of a closer look that a lot of what you're seeing now is essentially sort of cosmetic veneer that's been attached all over everything, but there's a lot of like interior decor that has changed too.
Okay.
And so as you climb aboard,
Oh, there's George.
yes,
Oh.
yeah. So as you climb aboard, Mew, in their sort of physical apparition, does float up and just say, "Welcome back.
You've been busy.
I have.
It looks good.
Thank you. Now that we have George aboard, it was essential that we redecorate the ship to match."
I can see the
Okay.
I agree.
In a meta sense, Christiana, where did this come from?
This is awesome, though.
Yes, there is an add-on pack for the
Okay.
Burn Bryte game that comes with these different skins for the ship.
Ah.
Oh, nice. And what about George's terrarium?
That was actually, it's one of the furniture pieces that comes with the pack.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So George is still a little token that can move around.
Yeah. So he can escape and create havoc at will.
Yeah. So, yes. So you, by the way, immediately after Jade Crucible flew away, you do get a little, contact request come up on your communicators that has the ID code for contacting Jade Crucible in the future, and also indicates to you where the Inferna is. And so let me show you on the galaxy map where that is.
Okay.
So right now you are on Ozobni, which is close to the center of the galaxy in the area known as the Heart Worlds. But you are going out into the Ghost Belt, which is populated mostly these days by the people who can't afford to move somewhere else, or the people who enjoy being somewhere where there's less attention. Hang on, my dog keeps grabbing stuff out of the... He's decided that he's excited by reusable grocery bags. grabbing those out of the little container. Sorry about that, buddy. So yes, so the Inferna is here, and so you know that basically the speed that you can travel is essentially 1 square per day. So got like 12 squares there, but it's 15 days according to the adventure. So that's what it is. But as you can see,
Well, you know,
the
there's
Inferna.
always traffic.
Yeah. Well, and as you can see, the Inferna is pretty close to the current edge of the burn. So, yeah, that's certainly closer to the burn than most people would go on purpose.
Yeah, but it might be 15 days because you can't go in a straight line.
So, in any case, what I'm actually referring to is there's a little bit of like the adventure says it takes 15 days, but the other stuff in the like setting description says that it's 1 day of travel per box on the map. So those just don't match, but it's fine. 15 days is how long it will take. So that's where you are headed. And
I
so
actually count 15. If you don't count
Oh, yeah,
if you don't go diagonal, it's 15.
okay, well there you go. So in any case, that's how long it is. It almost like it's kind of incidental how many squares it actually is because according to the adventure it's 15. So you are back on your ship. I assume that you give Mew the news.
Yep.
Absolutely.
And Mew just takes that in without obvious reaction and just says, "Very well. I will go make sure George is okay with it." and then it like floats off into the other room. But the ship just does begin to, unless so Mew can take the ship out and get it underway unless Yondu would like to do it manually.
Yondu would like to do it manually because he's a hands-on pilot.
Sure. So goes ahead and gets into the pilot's seat there. Does anyone else have somewhere they would like to be for takeoff and getting underway? Incidentally, for Erasto, you've spotted there that like there wasn't a pool, but like this little circular bed I kind of thought might be like a hot tub with a cover on it or something.
Yep, that works for me.
Little floating pillows.
On the story path for
Temptation.
Erasto, does
So I think I know what you're asking. Yes, what you did with Cree will certainly qualify based on how we discussed your story, but you do that at the end of the session.
okay.
Yeah, so
gotcha,
you get the
gotcha.
advancement
Okay.
at the end of the session where it happens. Yeah, so eager to bump up that die size, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right,
And
and
no
so
is going to take one of the gunner positions. So
all right. I think basket case, you go in there and you find Mew's little sort of floating plasma ball thing just floating very close to the terrarium, and George is in there staring back at it, and they seem to just be staring at each other.
I'm glad you're getting along.
All right, so what is this ship like when it gets underway? Does it vibrate a lot? Is it like smooth as glass? What's it like? What is the sensory experience of having this ship take off and go into space?
well, I feel like it has to be like it has to be smoother than like a military thing. Like it's designed more for the crew's comfort than a standard military ship would be.
Yeah. So we had kind of envisioned this one as like open on top, almost like a sailing ship. So we could certainly imagine that it moves kind of like smooth in wide turns, when it's not evasive maneuvers or something. Yeah. What do the engines sound like? Are they loud, or are they kind of? Is it just a gentle?
Thrum.
Sure.
Yeah. It's like I like the idea that, because we kind of gave Mew a kind of feline personality, I'd almost like to the feeling that it's like a almost a subsonic purr that you can more feel in your bones than you can hear it.
There you go. Nice. All right. So, as you get underway, we're certainly going to be in a time period here where we're not necessarily going to role play every day of these 15 days. But what we are going to do is say, what do you all get up to during those 15 days?
Brush. Yeah. Shake out the ash.
Brush.
Sure. Yeah.
More brushing than usual.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. It's a stress reaction.
Well, no, you gotta get the burned hair out.
Sure. Yeah. All right. So, anyone else like now? I know we're doing this for the first time. So, but I'm just sort of, this is a good opportunity, I think, for you guys to start thinking about what is your shipboard routine? Do you want to have like a planning session? Do you want to, do you each have your own sort of little nook hobbies? You can have any conversation scenes that you want. I'm going to have a couple little things come up, but mostly we want to say we got 2 weeks en route. So what do you get up to?
Yeah. I think Basket Case just goes progressively through the little food tidbits that he got to see what George likes and what he doesn't like.
Yeah.
And what he can eat and what he can't eat. And he does the maintenance on the ship for the most part. Just checking regular systems and stuff. But I think that's his new amusement of choice is to.
Sure. And I like to imagine that you all have kind of the equivalent of a food replicator, just because it just makes things simpler. And so what I need from you, Basket Case, is a difficulty 3 skill check as you attempt to gradually discern by trial and error, what does George like? What's his thing? What does he like? What does he do? What does he not like? What does he want? What are his hopes and dreams?
Yeah, I'm having problems with my character sheet. Hold on just a second. I'm going to relog into the game.
Okay. I don't know if you had it popped out out of the window. Okay. So I've heard that can sometimes cause difficulty, but all right. So,
no, it's just I hadn't accessed it, and so when I clicked on it, it just came up as this little almost translucent. It's just a little translucent header.
Okay. Yeah, double click on it when it does that. That's when you minimize. So for example, if I open up a little character sheet for George here, and I've got it open, and I double click here. See how it's like that?
Yeah.
I double click it again, it comes back.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that's neat. Okay.
Okay, so I am doing a difficulty 3, you said?
Yes.
What would be a good thing to roll? I want to say empathy would be a good thing to roll because I'm trying to see what his emotional response is. Am I trying to interpret his emotions and his reactions to things?
Yeah, it doesn't seem like a stretch for that to use that skill.
Okay, and so it's difficulty 3. Cross my fingers.
Big bucks, no whammy, please.
Oh no, yeah. So I
No.
think that as you are trying various different things, you're getting kind of frustrated because it George does not seem to be even consistent. Like you'll give him a couple of different choices and he'll eat one of them and leave the others alone. But then the next time you give him that, he won't eat it again. And then he's doing just kind of some weird behaviors. It seems like he's getting a little bit stressed. And then I think that at one point you go in to give him something, and he's not there. He's not in his little terrarium. So
Aw.
Uh-oh.
yeah.
Uh-oh.
So yeah. He's missing.
Yep.
He's just like
I don't want to
shrug her
alarm
shoulders.
anyone.
Okay.
George is missing.
Uh-oh.
Well, he can't have gone far.
One would think.
Yeah.
He likes small, dark spaces if he's freaking out. So I guess I'm just searching the ship
All right.
Okay.
and underneath the beds. I'll start with underneath the beds.
Check the
Maybe-
small dark spaces inside you because we've had this problem before.
And Noah's gonna go ahead and check around the weapons emplacements because it can be kind of dangerous, and maybe take a peek in the engine bay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So here's how we're going to do this as a group check where everyone is helping. By yourself, basket case, it would have been a difficulty 4 check, but with everybody helping, that'll bring it down to 2. But and whoever you want to have make the check can, but that's the person who will find George.
Okay.
So if we want, I think it makes sense. Like that you could still do the roll, but it's only complexity 2 because everyone's helping.
Okay. I want to do perception
Okay.
just
Right.
because of awareness of everything.
Sure. Just trying to spot the little guy,
Yeah.
the little puffball.
Yep.
All right.
My
So
poor little
Yes.
puffball.
yes, you find that he had nuzzled himself underneath the chair of the MI Jack. So he was under the chair here. He had sort of wedged himself in there, and he seemed to have enjoyed some wire coatings.
Oh no.
Fortunately, it didn't look like there was any permanent damage done or anything that needs, like, you should recoat those wires, but it's not gonna, there's no actual problem as of right now.
Okay. So,
But yeah.
all right. So that answers those questions.
So I think that as where we leave that for now is that you're maybe making some progress. But you're currently finding that George is a difficult pet.
Yeah.
You don't fully understand everything about him yet, or what he wants, or how he works. So
Okay. Fair.
but you have at least discovered that apparently he can get out of the terrarium, and then I think at some point Mew just if you're like comment on that, he'll just say, "Oh yes, I watched him leave." It was rather ingenious.
So how did he get out?
He got very small and then moved into the corner and got big and small and big and small and big and small until he was out.
Your terrarium needs a lid.
With air holes, yeah.
So we can say that you fashion a lid. I think that's fine. But so
Yeah.
that's one activity. What about someone else? What are you getting up to?
Okay, so let me tell you about Yondu's theory of how he pilots a ship.
Okay.
I mean, as I mentioned, he likes to be hands on. So, refresh me. Is it 24-hour days here, or how?
It may as well be. Just think of it.
Might as well. So he
Yeah.
will take. So he dutifully, even though there's not a lot to do during these long stretches, he dutifully will take a watch every day to be the pilot. I mean, yes, in theory, he could leave you to do it all, but that's not the way he handles things. So,
Sure.
so he has the day job, as it were. 8 hours a day, he's in the pilot chair, checking things, checking systems, making sure everything's fine, keeping his skills fresh, maybe making small course adjustments just to make sure that in case there's trouble, he's got his reflexes set. So a third of his waking hours is basically being the pilot. His other stuff, Yandu relaxes by reading. I mean, he's so on with being a pilot that he needs to relax by turning off that brain and just sitting in his bed and reading manuals, books, anything that can turn him off from what he's doing in his day job, and so he can just like lose himself for a while.
All right. Cool. So one thing that I'll add, just in case it was unclear, because it's a new setting, of course. This is science fantasy, which of course means faster than light communications, totally a thing. There is also space internet called the Complinet. Complinet, like it's complete, like the Complinet. Complinet. I don't know.
So that makes it easier to
Complinet
download
sounds
stuff.
better to me. It rolls off the tongue better. Complinet. But yeah, so you could certainly find things to read there, for example. But but so just in case that availability changes anything that some people might do.
Another thing Nobitola would be doing is, she's basically got a sparring bot,
Yeah.
and she'd be doing that on a regular basis.
Nice.
Keep herself fit.
Military, yeah. Keep your skills up. I
Great.
approve.
Yeah. So I don't think we need to do any roles just for
No.
the training, because especially since we're abstracting just many days of it. So I think when do you think that your crew would have a discussion about the plan? Like, obviously you don't know the details of the station or anything yet, but you could wait until you know more, and that's fine. I'm just asking if you would be doing it right away, or kind of waiting till you get closer, or how you want to handle that.
I have a proposal that we do it just before the halfway point. In other words, the go no go point, where like we're kind of committed, that we decide, are we doing this and how we're doing this. So if it's 15 days, so basically I propose we do it on day 7.
Okay.
This way, if we decide to veer off for whatever reason, like we look at this like, yeah, we can't handle this, we haven't completely committed ourselves entirely, can get back to civilization.
And also, would any of us be looking at what Inferna is actually like seeing if we can get
We have an internet.
That is absolutely something that you could do. Yeah.
So I think that's something that Novitola would be doing, because she's got herself a little smart slab.
Sure. So I think that this is going to be, this is not information that would be. So what you know about it was that it was a Kithuk space station. and that there are many designs of that, and that generally speaking, it's not something they post the blueprints for online, right? So
Yeah.
it's not a trivial thing, but I think a complexity 3 would give you some information, and a complexity 4 would give you more, but you get to choose what you're going for.
Yeah. Would anybody be able to help? Because I think
I definitely could help. I have computers. Even if I botched that last roll, I have computers, so I think I know my way around the internet
Yeah.
fairly okay to
Yeah.
help you try to find stuff on, because we're kind of looking for the equivalent of the dark web. So
or how about a nobody told helps Yandu.
Okay.
that could also work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Yep.
so with help, then it would be either a difficulty, complexity 3 for more information, or complexity 2 for, basic information.
Let's go for complexity 3. We want to know as much as we can.
Sure.
All right, so back to computers. Difficulty 3. All right, come on. Can't miss every roll in this game, right?
Well, we'll see. All right, that's a success. So, describe for me where you find the information. Like, given that what I said is that this would not be something that they would post just like publicly, but you find you're gonna find basic like basic schematics.
The basic schematics on the wide computer networks. However, if this is an internet science fantasy version of ours, then there's something like Reddit and possibly even something like 4chan, and boldly and perhaps a little recklessly, because pilot Yandu goes into those forums to look because somebody would have to have posted stuff there, because that's a mark of pride and
so I think
pride and skill.
What you find in there is, I think, you find a discussion of people who are clearly, like, they're the sort of people who like to talk big on the internet about all the cool crimes they're going to do. But you generally see them talking a lot about the stuff they're going to do and not a lot about the stuff that they did. So, yeah. But what you see is people putting together stuff like they think, well, because it's so close to the burn, the Kithuk abandoned this station, but there's probably a lot of good stuff there still. So if anyone wanted to get together a crew to go and try to loot the station, I bet there's good stuff there. Come on, anybody? Really? No? Okay. Well, I'm just going to go for myself and keep all the loot. Come on, you guys. Look, I got the schematics and everything. But so what you discover about the Infernus station is that there are, it's basically U-shaped. It is not a station that is just like huge and would hold thousands of people. Like, dozens, not hundreds of personnel would be on a ship like this. Like, you could have physically on it, several hundred people, but generally it would be crewed by a couple dozen. It is U-shaped, as I mentioned. It has 3 basic points of entry. It has a big central airlock that is like at the base of the U. That is typically where a ship your size would dock with the station. It also has a hangar where smaller ships can fly directly inside through a little force shield. And you know that the force shield is one of the type that if your ship is tuned to it, you just fly right through it. But anything that's not tuned to it gets zapped.
Like those shuttles.
Or not even so much that, as much just like it keeps the air inside. It keeps anything that's not tuned to its frequency from passing through. It's not like a zap as much as it just like you can't penetrate it if you're not vibrating the right way. And so that hangar is too small for your ship to fly inside, but with a little tricky maneuvering, you could probably fly up next to it well enough to make a basic seal, but you would still have to deal with the shield somehow. And that's not necessarily impossible, but you would have to figure out how to do that. Like I said, the central airlock is typically where ships your size would dock with the ship, but then there's also a smaller crew airlock that your ship could dock with. So the hangar's on one end of the U, the smaller crew airlock's on the other end of the U, the big airlock is in the center. And it has lots of like guns on it.
Of course it does.
Yeah. It also has like the location, but you knew that already. You do know that the Kithuk have been off of it for several months, though.
Okay, so it's only been abandoned for several months. So even if these cultists don't have any technical skills, things wouldn't have fallen apart completely in a few months. Okay, that's good to know.
Yeah, like the Kithuk left it more or less operational. Now, if no one was there at all to maintain it, it would eventually, start to lose life support and all of that and everything. But I mean, if someone's there, they could presumably do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's what you're able to find about it. You know that. I think you have a little bit of advanced information on those, and so what I'm going to say that you get for your successful role here is that when negotiating the challenges of getting in through any of those different airlocks, whichever you choose, the difficulty will be reduced by 1 because of the knowledge you have.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I figured out what Erasto is using his time to do.
Okay.
Harasto up to.
Erasto is working with the ship's synthesizer and his own kind of knowledge of chemistry and stuff to make a gel salve that can be put over everyone's skin to make them a little more fire resistant. Maybe it will prevent a 1 health level damage from fire before it's used up. I don't know.
Okay. Yeah.
But something protective to give everybody a better chance of surviving fire attacks.
I like that. Okay, so let's see. I think that would be really useful to have, which means that it's not easy. Or rather, if it were to be too easy, it would have to have a drawback of some kind.
Right.
So I guess I'll ask, would you prefer a less complex challenge in order to have something that works but with a drawback, or would you rather a more complex challenge to get something that works just the way you want?
I think I want something. So I want something that has a drawback. I think that would be more fun.
All right. So I think a complexity 3, because you're basically trying to make something up just from the stuff you have on hand, which is like you've got stuff. I definitely am on board with this being possible, but so I'm looking for a complexity 3.
Okay. Yeah. So I'll roll that. Complexity 3.
Okay.
Oh no!
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, so let's see if let's see if a failure prompt here gives us anything fun to work with. You must choose between saving 2 allies. How
It
about
feels like Mass Effect.
Yeah, you know what? I like if we were in combat, like it would be one thing. I'm trying to think.
How about if it doesn't work on non-organic inorganic material? Like it'll
Well,
work. Like it'll work on. Like it'll work on but it won't work on Peacecraft.
or I can choose one species that it'll work on.
yeah, okay, yeah, I like that. Yeah, so you can choose like basically one of your companions that it'll work for.
Or yourself.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and that includes yourself. Yeah.
Um, I think because he got so burned up last time, I think Paul's character is the one that he would.
So Yandu.
provide for,
Yeah. Okay.
Um,
So I'll also just note that strictly per the mechanics, I'm being generous there because in theory, like the failure is supposed to be a cost in addition to not getting what you want and not just getting part of what you want. But that's fine. I don't care. It's I think this works. So you've come up with a salve that Yondu can apply to their skin that will give them. I'll essentially say it will absorb one sort of fire damage, and then would need to be reapplied.
and it's like and Yondu's the cat person, right?
No,
No.
that's
the crystalline person, right?
yeah.
This is a kind of a spray shellac type thing, and applied to anybody who has like flexible skin or exposed motors and joints would interfere with their ability to move. But because so much of Yondu's body is semi-rigid, it can bond to the mineral parts, and it also kind of makes him shiny.
Ah, great. It looks like we're getting raided with a group from Azil D&D, so thanks anyone who's joining from that group. We're playing Burn Bryte, if you're not familiar. But I think one additional thing that happens while you're en route is, and this happens at about day 7, is that you all get a communication from was Zaspar. Yes, Zaspar was the Rornan that you delivered the crystals to. Worked for the Cosma Overguild. And he contacts you, specifically Yondu, and just says, Yondu, it is good to talk to you. I have an opportunity for you. Where are you right now?
We are currently in, what's the name of that outer region of the galaxy?
Well, so if we look on the galaxy map here, there is the Heart Worlds, the Mid Belt, and the Ghost Belt. You would be in the Mid Belt at this point.
Yep. It's good to talk to you. We're currently on a assignment that we've been given, and we're currently heading out in the Mid Belt.
Oh, no! Why are you out there?
My compatriots and I decided that this opportunity was important enough to take.
Well, how soon could you be back to Abzomni?
Couple weeks, probably.
That might work. In 30 days, there is a big race. And given that all of you were so fast at getting me those crystals, I think that you could really be strong contenders for this big race. And I would like to sponsor for you. I would like to sponsor you if you can be there. But obviously, if you are, somewhere on the other end of the galaxy, then that complicates your ability to participate in this spaceship race.
So where is this race taking place?
Well, it starts here in Azobni, but it actually it basically goes around some of the local galactic features. It doesn't actually stop in any other populated systems, but it goes through an asteroid belt and around some other hazards. It's
And the eyes go wide.
Yeah, so it's actually a little dangerous, but I figured an adventurous crew like you probably wouldn't mind such a risk.
Well, after this mission, we're bound to come back to Azagni anyway. So if we're back in time and we can prepare for this race, I would be proud if you would sponsor us for this race.
Well, what's the mission? It can't be that important.
It revolves around the incident with the cultists.
Oh God, you guys are going to get yourselves blown up.
Not if they can't catch us.
Well, okay, I mean, I guess that's fair. If I don't suppose you could set up some sort of like a dead beings switch so that it lets me know if you get blown up and you're not coming back. Because there's a deadline to register.
I can set up my email to do so. Absolutely.
Yeah. Mew can probably take care of that.
Yeah.
Well, okay. So, yeah, I mean, I would love to sponsor you if you can get back in time.
Well, we're not going to linger where we're going. That's for sure. So we're going to get back to Azagni as fast as possible. Hopefully
Well,
fast enough to be participate in this race.
Well, I hope so, because I'm putting out a lot of money to sponsor you. But I do it because I believe in you. Go team.
Go team.
Come back in one piece, please.
Yandu out.
All right.
And then I will tell my companions that I'm trying to get us into a race. Assuming we survive the cultists.
Mhm.
A dangerous race through perilous parts of the galaxy.
Could be fun.
And they just stare at me.
Yeah.
You believes in me, don't you? You?
Yeah.
I think that Zaspar forwards you information about the race, which does give you some indication. It doesn't have the route because apparently that's something that they announce like right as the race is starting. Like it's supposed to be like a surprise. It's different every year, but they have indications of what some of the past ones have been, and yeah, it does actually seem, moderately dangerous. It's not, not Sunday drive, and but what you do see though is that there is a prize for winning, which is 50,000 Argent.
That's not chump change, guys.
Wow.
Maybe
Yeah.
this will bump in your stance on us entering
Yeah.
the thing.
I think Noviutola's eyes get round as the implications of so many grooming sessions just float through their heads. Is
Her
like,
ears twitch. Her ears twitch. It's like,
yeah, that little tail.
No tails. And the Eno don't have tails.
The Eons don't have tails.
Nope.
Oh, that's interesting.
that's why I said the ears.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because that, like,
12,000 Argent can do a lot for your body.
Yes.
50,000.
Oh,
Wow.
20 by four.
Well, presumably you would
Yeah.
share, I think is the implication.
Well,
yeah.
that's all I-
Yeah.
All right. So,
okay.
you have that to look ahead. But,
Assuming we survive.
yeah. So,
I'm doubly glad for the fire retardant now. So I'm
all the
survived.
more reason to want to survive the
Yeah.
encounter with the cultists. All right. So, as day
Okay, so we
7
need
comes.
planning session, right?
Yeah. Well, as much as you guys want to do, I'm not
Yeah,
forcing you to plan.
yeah,
I'm asking.
So I think we need to have our planning session, decide how we're going to get into the station, present all the evidence and information
I have.
was able to acquire with.
I do have another question.
Sure.
how far behind are these guys in the sense that, while we're traveling, I mean, we left like within a very short period of time of them leaving. Can we see them? Can they see us?
No, I think that basically you would be arriving approximately at like that same interval of like how much time it was, like, so you would be arriving theoretically, maybe an hour and a half or something like that after them, right?
So what were all their ships like the same kind of ship, or was it like more of a patchwork fleet?
There were some that were different, but most of them looked like they were the same model as the one you investigated.
So what do you think of the possibility of pretending to be a straggler with more captives aboard, and getting in that way?
I think we're not dressed for it.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm certain that there were symbols and such on the ship we saw, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
everywhere inside that ship.
Okay. Then I think that the most prudent thing is to try and sneak aboard. Is whatever is the least likely to attract their attention. I'm not sure how to do that. I'm not sure what kind of like exterior defenses they might have. But if it's a space station and we're in this little ship with 2 guns, I think our chances of fighting our way aboard is probably not as good, especially since they had a whole bunch of ships that they brought there. So,
which opening had the defensive guns on it?
So there's guns covering basically all of the angles. So there was the hangar entrance where like smaller ships could fly in and out, but there's the shield on it, and then there's the big airlock and the little airlock.
Okay, I thought you mentioned I know you mentioned one of them had guns, but they
No. So the station has guns. The station has guns. It's not that any one of the airlocks is the one that has guns. The station has guns.
Okay.
We're attacking the Death Star.
No, it's not. It's not
Star
that
Destroyer.
big.
No.
It's way smaller even than a Star Destroyer. It's not that big.
Oh, okay. Okay.
This is not even DS9. So
Yeah, the hangar you're talking about, like the ship that you saw, that shuttle, like it has one hangar that could hold like maybe 12 of those, and that's the size of this place. That's what it's got.
it's not a huge ship.
No, it's a station, but it's like I said, it is not huge. It is bigger than your ship, but it's not. You're not talking about the Death Star.
Okay.
So we have a choice of 3 places to get in. Either we try to figure out a way to get through that shield into the hangar, or we try to dock with one of the airlocks and go in that way.
Yeah. The smaller airlock might be the easiest.
And another question: what is the faster than light drive called?
Let's see. I could. I'd have to look that up in the compendium. Can you tell me while I'm doing that? Can you tell me why you want to know?
Well,
what
just
are you
like
getting at?
my thought, if we can come out of FTL basically at the last moment, so it's like so basically we can be at the dock before the weapons have a chance to lock on.
You want me to pull out of FTL so on top of the station that there's no time for them to actually shoot anything. Will be inside the lee of their guns.
If it's possible.
boom, and it just hit the brakes, and suddenly we're like,
Yeah, like I mean, there's not rules for that. You know, like it doesn't really describe it in that much technical detail. I think that given that it was designed as a military station, I'm not going to say no, but I'm going to say that it would be really hard with potentially disastrous consequences. Because it's literally designed to not let ships get close to it if it doesn't want them to. Like,
but it is not being run by the military; it's being running by
That's
these crazy
true.
cultists.
yes. So it may be not operating at peak efficiency.
Do we think that the station has an MI on its own?
Would that be
It,
typical?
Would they?
it does not. You
Okay.
learned that from your database. And that's part of the whole thing is that MIs are associated specifically with this particular type of drive. Like that's the MIs are like actually also how that's powered. So so that's part of the whole thing with the station why they had to abandon it instead of move it because it doesn't actually have the capability of traveling great distances. It's designed to be where it is.
Okay. Okay. So at least we're working with sentience only point of view rather than a shipboard computer that's capable of making those decisions on its own.
And the main reason I want to know what the FTL is called, so it's like, you know, say like come out of warp, come out of hyperdrive.
There's nothing like that that's described. Like it's like it has let's see. Yeah, like it doesn't there's not like hyperspace. Hang on, I can look this up in the compendium because it does actually have some of that history of like how it was all developed and stuff like that. So give me a moment.
It's a pity I couldn't get that.
But what I'm going to tell you though is that like if the goal is get super close to this station without it being able to shoot you first, like that's going to be hard no matter what you're trying to do. And the risk, especially if you're talking about like, I want to come out of hyperspace right next to a space station, just think about what happens if that doesn't go right. Right? Like
Okay.
that's like potentially very serious, right? So,
Maybe wait till I get to a D12 in computers before we try that.
yeah,
I'm good, but I'm not that good.
Yeah, hey, it's something just had to ask.
okay, so let's see. Modern spaceships.
But
Let's
this-
see. So a lot of spaceships used to be powered by plasma, which is sort of a magical fluid that was plentiful enough that it was able to be used as fuel and everything. But part of the problem is plasma is becoming more scarce thanks to the burn because like a lot of places where you used to be able to get plasma don't exist anymore. But because plasma is still needed to run a lot of technology for other things, the price went up, and so it became inefficient to use it for spaceship fuel essentially. And so that's why the MI powered ships came into vogue, and that's why people were willing to accept the idea of the MIs, despite there having been a whole war about the AIs previously. And it being unclear exactly what's the difference. Well, what's the difference? Well, this is an MI. That's the difference. But it doesn't, like, there's no description of, like, oh, you go into hyperspace and then you come in and out of it and there are rules about it. No, it's
Okay.
Yeah.
So I guess I'll just call it generically drive.
Yeah.
Go into drive.
Well,
Okay.
I mean, who's to say that we even have to? I mean, in science fiction, you can kind of broadly categorize FTL drives into one of three categories. Either your ship is still there, it's just going really, really fast. It goes into another place where it goes really, really fast, hyperdrive, or it starts here and then it ends there. It's jump drive, right?
Yeah.
I think as far as the aesthetic that we have established for just like this ship is like a sailing ship, I think the first one where you just go fast. That's all there is to it. Why does it have to be any more complicated than that? You just go fast.
We're sailing the seas of space.
Yeah.
Right. And the fact that it takes 15 days to go from nearly the core of the galaxy to the edge means it's just really, really, really fast. So,
right. And I don't think we have to worry about like long periods of acceleration and then you flip over in the middle and you're decelerating the whole second half.
Yeah.
I don't think
You flipped over galleon.
So no, you're just going really fast. I think that's what it is. Yeah. But the thing is, because all of these ships are using this MI powered drive, they're all very similar in their speed. It's magic, and so they all kind of go the same speed.
Right. The speed of plot.
The speed of MI drives.
So if we're coming into the station, the question is, will they have the wherewithal to try to converse with us? We might have to try and pretend just to get close to the station. They don't have an MI, which is good, but there might be somebody sitting on our sensor board saying, "Oh, here comes a ship." They're not coming for the usual place. Who are they?
Now, the fact that the ship can't move means that if you get really close, there's probably places on it where the guns can't shoot because you're too close to it.
Blind spots. Yeah, I think that's what David was.
Yeah,
I think David was thinking.
Yep. Right, and so I can definitely say that, but I guess especially given what we just established about the way the engines work, I think that from a practical standpoint, unless you have something special about your ship that gives it like cloaking or something, like the sensors are going to see you coming. There's no question of like getting really close to the ship without them knowing you're there. Like they're going to see you.
So, given that they're going to see us, given that anybody who is not part of them is going to be immediately hostile, I think the most prudent thing to do is to get to whichever doorway we feel like we can force open the quickest, and just get it in, and because we'll be better off in there than not.
Yeah.
And then be ready for a really big fight. Because I don't think that there's any way to do this that doesn't have, I don't think there's any way to do this without setting off alarms. I can't see how that would work.
Yeah.
So yes, it's just a matter of which door do we go for.
Well, the one with the force shield that you have to be tuned for doesn't sound like the easiest one to get in.
Also, your ship is too big to fly inside, so you would have to do a tricky maneuver to like get up and arrange. Like the others are airlocks that are specifically designed for like, oh yes, you fly up here and then you engage the docking connection and so on. It works like that. Whereas opposed to the other one where you'd like literally have to try to like maneuver the ship to essentially plug the hole, and that's after you get through the shield. So it could be done, but it's harder.
Yeah, that one I think is out. I think that a larger door would allow us to rush it easier than a smaller one.
So you think large airlock?
Yeah.
Yeah, large airlock.
Large airlock.
Yeah.
Okay. I was thinking a small airlock, but yeah.
But a small airlock can be more easily. I'm seeing Arasta's point. A small airlock is easier for them to set up a choke point if there's someone right there to shoot at us.
But it's also more likely to have more people that we'll have to fight through.
True. I mean, there's the advantages and disadvantages of small versus large.
Yeah. Well.
Right. Large it is.
Yeah.
Large it is.
So lightning raid, not
Conquest. Yeah.
Yeah.
Get in, find the prisoners, break them out, take them out.
Yeah.
And then hit the gas, as it were, or
Yeah.
semi-equivalent.
Yeah. So
Burn.
the other thing that happens as you are en route is that Jade Crucible does eventually send you a little bit more background on the daylight, and this is a little bit more information than is just sort of like trivially
Public knowledge.
public. Yeah. So obviously there's a lot of it that you kind of picked up already. That's a religious cult that worships some entity they call Gulmak. The founder is a Glean named Tilde Mir, and apparently she started hearing a voice telling her to pray to him within, pray to Gulmak within the burn. And then once she started doing that, she received powers. Like she could, touch fire and create flame with a thought. And it seems like there's records of that, and obviously you've now seen evidence of the cultists being able to do that. So there doesn't seem to be any question that the power is real, wherever it's actually coming from. Whatever's actually happening, they are able to do stuff. It's not a trick. But apparently what Tilde has claimed in, when she has, when her communications have gotten out, is basically she says that Gulmak has told her to sacrifice the unworthy, criminals and immoral individuals. And so what they're supposed to do is find people, bring them to close to the burn, and then essentially tell them to listen for the voice of Gulmak. If they hear it, they become enlightened and join the cult. If they don't hear it, they get tossed into the burn. That's basically what they do, what the daylight does. But the thing is that despite their powers, they're not crazy. There's not crazy numbers. There's enough that there's different chapters of it. Each of them that gets is sort of run by what's known as a hand of Gulmak, and you heard a little bit about this. So a hand of Gulmak runs a chapter, and they think that there are at least 10 of those, but they're not 100% sure exactly how many. So the raids that they've done in the past have tended to target outlying settlements, or people who are more vulnerable. And so this raid right in the middle of a city on Ozabni is represents a big change in their tactics. This sort of a mass raid in a big populated area. Jade Crucible suspects that whatever it is they're planning, they clearly wanted this one to get attention, as opposed to people not realizing that it's happening, right? Because a few people going missing in a depopulated area, not big news. This is going to be big news, and they have to know that, so it has to be part of what they're going for. Yeah. Now, the other, some of the rest of this is just Jade Crucible's, again, her opinion, her speculation on this. But it is basically, her impression is that it doesn't seem like Gulmak has a terribly consistent ideology in terms of who's a sinner and who gets to be enlightened. It seems extremely, variable and subjective. Her suspicion is I don't know where the power comes from, but they don't get to write their rules in a book because they're going to be different every day. But then again, if they actually hear the voice of Gulmak in their head all the time, I suppose that's fine. He can tell them the new password or whatever.
Yeah. The new security dance.
Yeah. But as she says, that, that variability has actually made it a little bit harder to deal with them because they don't always behave in predictable ways.
All right.
Well,
Loads of fun.
All right. So, does anyone have any additional business that you would want to get up to en route? If not, we can go ahead and... move to your arrival at the Inferna.
I'm ready. I'm
quick
ready for a
question,
space station adventure.
Does anyone have a hard out today?
I don't want to go too much. I was asking to basically get through to the point where we're on the ship on the station and
Right. Okay. So this next bit is going to determine some stuff. So let's at least go through that and see how that's going to go.
yeah.
All right. So as you get closer, the burn is looming ahead of you. Now, the burn is something that even when you're in the Heart Worlds, just background of space is not as dark as it used to be, because the burn can be seen. It's a ways off, but it is all around the galaxy. So it is the new background everywhere. But it is generally extremely faint when you're at that extreme distance. But as you guys are getting closer and closer and closer, it is dramatic. And in fact, I would imagine that it's occasionally a little bit intimidating because, this is, it's an endless ocean of fire that you are heading directly towards.
I'm basically piloting the ship towards this curtain of fire. It's like, that's a little intimidating.
Yeah, and
it's really nothing to worry about. All it is the cosmic background is just a tiny bit warmer than 2.7 Kelvin. That's
I
all.
think it's a lot more than 2.7 Kelvin.
Well, and but gradually, your long range scanners are picking up first just this tiny little pinprick of darkness against the burn. It gradually gets a little bigger and a little bigger and a little bigger until you're seeing the silhouette of this station, the Inferna.
Oh, nice imagery there.
Yes.
Like
so as you are getting close, though, Mew lets you know.
I got a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so does the burn have any effects upon sensors as far as being able to detect people, detect things? I mean, you described how the station became larger and larger.
Yeah.
Is that something that affects sensors in any way?
So it doesn't affect anything outside the burn. You can't detect anything past the burn.
Okay, no, my thinking was, and it doesn't look like it would work based on what you were saying, was basically to come around and come from the burn side, but that would give us the advantage.
I mean, theoretically you could do that, but I mean, what I'm telling you right now is this station is there's no cover here. Right?
Okay, that's what I was kind of looking for. Okay, but it won't work. So okay, no worries.
Yeah, sorry. It's in space. It's just there's a lot of nothing in between you. So
space is big. It's true.
Yeah. So I understand the impulse, but I think in this particular case, in the future you might want to see if you can invest your space winnings in a cloaking system or something. But in any event. As you start being able to detect the station and knowing that probably means their station can detect you, in fact, Mew does say, "The Inferna is hailing our ship. They are attempting to make video contact with us."
Wow. Who wants to take the call?
Not I.
I'll do it.
All right. So here's the question: where would everybody be when that, go ahead and move your tokens to where you would want to be when you are approaching the station and getting this hail? Would everyone want to be on the bridge or?
I'm exactly where I need to be.
Yeah, I think Nova would would be in gunner position because that's where she'd be most useful.
Okay.
Okay.
Basket case. What are you heading for the other gun or?
I was thinking the other gun. Yeah.
Okay.
I'll head for the other gun.
Okay. All right.
I
And
mean,
I'll
I
be in
could be the other gun.
You can be the gun.
Yeah. So it can be in the MI Jack chair.
Yeah.
You don't have to be, jacked in. You just can be in the
Right.
spot. But okay, so do you answer the call then?
Yes.
Okay, so it makes the most sense, like just in a straightforward like Star Trekky way, that it would be on the bridge. So it might be Yondu, but it doesn't have to be that way. In terms of who can see this screen and who the person on the other end of the screen can see, right? Like, that's part of why I was asking where you all are.
Yeah.
Oh,
If you're taking it right at, I mean, we can beam it across the entire ship. I mean, you can be the
Yeah.
person of contact. If you're the one answering it, I mean, we'll all just watch.
It would be like a Zoom call, different faces all over the
Yeah,
place.
like a Zoom call.
All right. Yeah.
But
We're like
You're
like
the
an
face.
online tabletop game.
Yeah. I buy that. Like I'm okay with that. Okay, so you're all on the call then, essentially.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sure. Why not?
Sure,
What could go
sure.
wrong?
Okay, so the person on the other end of this call looks like this.
Oh, boy.
So yeah, so what you are seeing is someone that you suspect is probably an Ulron underneath that red hooded cloak, but they are also wearing a white mask over their face. As you open the connection, she says, "Greetings. I am Opo Midinivinkin, Hand of Gulmok, member of the Daylight and servant of Tildemir. Our fighter ships are headed your way to escort you to our central airlock. If you attempt to flee, they will attack. But if you come peacefully, there is no need for violence."
which
We have already chosen our docking point, and we will be proceeding there right away.
If that docking port is the central airlock, and our fighters may escort you there, then that is acceptable.
I thought you, Christiana, didn't you say that the central one just wasn't big enough for our ship?
No, the hangar is not big enough for your ship, which is on one end, and then the big airlock is the one in the center, and then the other little one. Yeah.
Well, that's the one we chose. Yeah.
Yeah.
So-
Yes.
All right. So, as you are hanging out there, you do eventually see that two fighters and another ship that's kind of fighter-sized, but you know to be an interceptor, are coming up and taking. They're moving in to. I think that you see them when they're still like ahead of you in the far zone. So basically, you see them. They look like they're heading your way, and she says, "Shall you allow escort, or do you choose another path?"
Well, I mean, this.
I urge you to come peacefully, that you might hear the voice of Gulmok and become enlightened.
Okay, I'm going to cut off my connection to the thing so that they can't hear me.
Okay.
And,
Mute. Put yourself on mute.
yeah, put myself on mute and turn to Yondu and say, if those fighters are still there when we're on our way out, they could give us trouble.
They definitely could.
And it'll be
Or if we shoot in, then we'll be dealing with the spaceship's guns right now.
yeah.
So I think we let them take us in, and then we deal. Future us has to deal with flying away from them. But we start guns blazing right now. We're gonna have to fight a station, and that's not
Yeah.
gonna work well.
Right. So we do that, but I think while we're there, we should see about trying to sabotage those fighters.
So assuming they don't just keep flying around the station, yeah.
Yeah.
We're crippling their capacity to launch against us. Yes.
Pursue. Yeah. Mhm.
So, hi.
All right. Yep. So
Yep.
so yeah, we accept.
All right. And then all of a sudden, another face comes onto your Zoom call. And
I'm sorry to just the name of that, since we're going
Yeah.
since we're traveling in space, zoom zoom.
So hang on. So another person comes onto the Zoom call, and let me just make a big token here just to show you the face here. It's an Eno with some fancy looking goggles, comes on the call and just says, well, that's a mighty fine invitation there, Oppo, but I believe that I will be finding my own way in. Thank you. And you realize that another ship is coming in, like, from behind you, and it's a much smaller ship, kind of fighter-sized. But this other Eno has joined the call. And then Oppo says, "You are all welcome to enter through the central airlock. Any other entrance will be met with defenses." And then the call cuts off.
Who is that hotshot?
Who are you?
So he's still on the call, and he just kind of says, "Who am I? Well, you all have the benefit, the pleasure, the honor, the privilege of meeting the one and only Cielo Vaxen." You don't know who that is. That's like...
I don't know who you are.
Well, you will once I rescue all the captives on that station there. Now I don't know if you lot are looking to join these daylight creeps or what you're doing here, but I'll tell you this: stay out of my way. And then he cuts off communication.
Which side of the ship is his ship on? Which side of our ship is?
He would be in the aft far zone currently, but coming in fast.
I think we have our distraction.
So,
Points
no,
come
like,
at the enemy.
Yeah. So
so we can't hurt.
what are you doing as he is coming in, also approaching the station fast? I'm assuming that you guys had maybe slowed down once you're talking with them and discussing this, and like you were maybe coming in like you were going to accept the escort maybe, and so you were slowing down. He's coming in fast, so the fighters do seem like they're maybe moving to intercept what he's doing.
I think we should get to the station before he does.
Yeah.
How are you going to do that?
Let's let him distract the fighters.
If the fighters have zoomed off to him, then then we don't have an escort anymore.
Yeah. All right. So yeah, the fighters do seem like they're breaking off to to intercept.
We go for the station first. Let him play around.
All right. You still
Playing
heading
dog-
for that central airlock?
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
And before we are under surveillance from them, here's my plan. We play along until this guy gets to the station, starts making trouble, then we break out the guns.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay.
We can play lie doggo and play along with this until he starts shooting, and then we can shoot too.
all right.
Yep.
You as you're making your way towards the central airlock, you can definitely see on your hind sensors that he has engaged the fighters.
Okay, that should
So-
slow him down a little bit.
I've got one screen up just to watch to see is he actually any good?
He seems like he's really good. He's got a little ship that's not much bigger than the fighters, but he's clearly has some skill, because as soon as he engages, he's just really starting some very complex evasive maneuvers, and in fact, he blows up one of the fighters as you're watching.
Like,
Well, now
Yandu is like, if we can figure out some way that guy doesn't make it back to the race, it might improve your chances some.
yeah, if he enters the race, I'm in deep trouble.
If he enters the race, I'm going to consider it weapons free.
All right. So as you are having that
First things first,
conversation,
though.
Yeah.
The,
Basket Case looks at Mew and says, "You're sure you wanted these guys?"
Oh God!
and then I think Mew just says, "Well, we have George now, so."
That's how I got.
Oh god.
And then I think we're gonna, as the enormous, the station looms, and you approach the central airlock and move into docking position. That's where we will finish tonight's session. And you will find out what awaits you on aboard the Inferna next time. But as is the practice in Burn Bright, we finish every session with a discussion of the story paths and which of you have gotten new story path events. And so I think we definitely got a couple here. So let's start with the first one that came up, which was Erasto, your temptation.
Yeah.
You want to describe what your first temptation story path is?
I'm having trouble bringing up the whole path in.
You can always go to the compendium tab, which is the little eye, and
Yeah.
then there's story paths, and
Right.
you can open it in there. Like,
Okay, there it is. Yeah, temptation. You have specific obsession with a vice. You might indulge it regularly, or you might have tried it to keep it repressed. And what we decided was that his vice was in fact initiating people into the wonders of chemically enhanced consciousness. And so he's been thinking about that experience with what's his name there on the planet.
Kree. Yeah,
Kree.
that was Kree Metho something or other. Myrtelsot.
Right, and he's he definitely is feeling a kind of a new kind of high from having done that, because I mean he is a practical biochemist. He's tried all the stuff that he gives to other people. He wouldn't use it. He wouldn't do it unless he understood it well himself. And he's a very experiential kind of person. But the second time, the third time, it's not really quite the same anymore. And so he's kind of just not that. When it comes to the actual chemicals themselves, not that addictive a personality. It just loses its luster. But this is something that he can do again and again with different people, and this is a brand new high that he's discovered.
Nice. So your reward for completing this event is that you can increase the die size of one of your mental or social skills by 1. Do you know which one you're going to do?
Empathy.
Empathy. All right. Cool. All right, so we also definitely have a story path event for Yandu, and your story path is contest. Do you want to tell us about your first event here?
Right, a contest. You prepare for and engage in a contest with the intent of winning. The first event is challenge accepted. You complete this event after you learn about the contest and agree to partake.
Mm-hmm.
You may see an advertisement, get challenged, or create a contest you own to prove something. So he now knows about this. So here's the question. It's contingent upon us getting back in time. So did I actually complete it?
Well, you accepted the challenge. Yeah.
I accepted the challenge.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so assuming that, then I did complete the first event, which means I increased the die size of one of my social skills by one for doing that, and I'm going to increase. I think empathy is a good choice, so I'm gonna do what Nobilis did and do that as well.
All right, and so Lee, let's talk about with Basket Case. How do you feel about Basket Case? Because you already got your first one, which was when you made friends with George, and now there are 3 different possible things that can happen next in yours. You could have there's Soothe the Beast, Quality Time, and Protectors. But
I really don't think any of those kind of qualify for what happened in today's session.
Yeah, I was thinking if you had been successful in trying to figure out what makes him happy, then maybe that would have been Soothe the Beast or Quality Time or something. But I think you're still working on it.
Yeah, yeah. I wasn't expecting to get that today.
Right? No, I agree. I agree. I'm just we're talking it through. I just didn't want you to be surprised that I didn't mention it or something. But then, last but not least, for Nova Itala, your story path is rivalry. So I think we have possibly, you tell me if I'm wrong. We have possibly identified this possible individual.
Yes. Yeah.
But at the same time, the event is that you might have just met them, but there's only one way to you have to have a competition at something.
And I think the competition is part that's coming up.
Right. So that's what I was going to say too. Is that you think you know who it might be, but you haven't had yet the opportunity to determine your relative skills.
Yeah. Can you actually put his name in the somewhere? Chapter?
Let me make this viewable for everybody.
Leo Faxon.
Yeah.
You're going to get yours.
All right. So put that in the journal. So we got story path advancements for 2 people today, and some potential for more in the future. But in the meantime, you got a big space station full of cultists to deal with. So we'll come back for that next time. So in the meantime, thank you everybody for watching, or if you're listening to the audio version, that's good too. And we'll be back for more Burn Bryte soon. So
don't burn your daylight.
Yeah. I don't have the cool, clever tag out yet. We'll work on it.
Not yet. Well, we'll get there.
All right. So good night, everybody.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.